Hi, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Real Housewives of Moto. This is episode 32. 32. Dedicating this one to Justin Cooper and Jillian Cooper. Hope to have Jillian Cooper on the pod one day. That would be really fun. But today's episode is an interview with my friend Afton Seeser. And you know Afton from my Instagram. She is the author of these lovely books, which she is calling the Motocrush Series. And they are inspired by writers from the American Supercross series. So there's some familiar plot lines that you will hear about in her books. But she talks about just being a fan of the sport and really falling for the writers and their expertise and their grit and determination and just wanting to tell those stories. And yes, it's a spicy book and it's got, some romance in it. But it's a really interesting conversation about just appreciating the sport from a female perspective. And these books did get back to some of the writers that they are inspired by. And she talks about how that controversy kind of, shook her up and how she had to go back and edit and feeling so tied to these characters that are, inspired by real life people and having to navigate that. So it's a really interesting listen. Afton is lovely, and I adore female fans of the sport. So anybody that is a female fan, is a roamie, and loves books, my niches are getting smaller and smaller. So I just love it. So hope you guys enjoy this episode of Real Housewives of Moto with Afton Seeser. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Real Housewives of Moto. I'm so excited for this episode to finally bring you guys my girl Afton Seeser. Afton, welcome. What is up?
How are you? I'm so we haven't been talking.
I know, that's what we haven't been talking for the last 45 minutes before we press record.
Yes. I'm excited though. I was telling Nick, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going on the podcast and hopefully hopefully I talk about all this, don't yap too much. He was like, why are you nervous? I thought that you already did this podcast. And I was like, no, because I talk about you so much.
Yeah.
But I think he thinks that I must have been on the podcast. And I'm like, no, Nick, no, this is my first moto podcast. So I'm so excited.
Yay. Well, welcome. I was telling you, I was trying to figure out how the world brought you to me, and we're going to tell our listeners who you are and what the overlap with moto is.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was just the Instagram algorithm, which is crazy. Because why you're here is we have this very, very small niche piece of pie that we both live in, which is that we both love moto and we both are book girlies. So Afton, what do you do? What brings you here?
So it's technically the Motocrush series. I never call it by the Motocrush series, but I have 3 books. It's a spicy motocross romance series. And I just started talking about this on Instagram, which is, I'm happy it did come across your feed, because I feel like sometimes my videos, when I'm talking about nothing that's not spicy, those videos don't hit. So I'm glad at least that the motocross, I know, and I'm like, dang, I would love to talk about my other books with people too, eventually, outside of motocross. But anyways, I love motocross, and so I decided to write a series about it, because there's F1, and I think there's just standalone motocross books from what I've seen. I've never actually read them. And of course there's football and hockey and all the things, but I was like, we need more fans in the sport. And
Say it again.
yeah. So I'm like, the people need to know how incredible the sport is, because even growing up, nobody I knew watched motocross, only the Motocross Disney movie. And that has made a lot of people happy that it's nostalgia, them finding it. Yeah. So that's why I wrote the books. And I was in Croatia when I saw the F1 books, and I just thought, if F1 can make it to Croatia, where, I mean, I know F1 is all over there, but those kind of books randomly popping up in the bookstore and then getting translated into Croatian, I was like, why couldn't I do this with motocross? And that was when was that? Some point in maybe early 2023. So that was a while ago. And then I went to, I'm blanking on the name of the races. The one that was in Dallas, the one that's
Arlington? Oh, Fort Worth.
Yeah, the one where they do the free. What?
Was it the SMX round in Fort Worth?
Yes,
It was
SMX.
hot.
What is the word? I have to know, because now I'm just thinking of World Supercross.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So I was there and I saw the Tomac and the Jet battle, and I was just so excited. And that was a couple weeks after I got my gallbladder out. So I was in it was so hot, and I'm just
it was miserable. I was there too. It was awful.
No, it really was. And then so I don't know, maybe somewhere in my delusion, I hadn't even like published my first book. I was like, I'm gonna get this done before the Supercross season in 2025. Yeah, yeah, that's it. So then I don't know, I was like so inspired by that battle. I was like, I gotta write this like right now in whatever books I had planned to write. I was like, let me just see if I can do this while like I love watching them race each other. And that's how it came to be this year. I didn't think that I could go on about this forever. How I could have waited longer to get the book out. But I just wanted to see if I could write romance because my first book was I mean, it's a modern twist on A Christmas Carol, so it's romance, but it's more like fiction. Like
Mhm.
I would like to do literary fiction in the future, but I was like, why not try to write spicy stuff and romance? So um, I feel like I went off on a tangent there,
No,
but
no, I'm like, please continue. I was just like so giddy when I like stumbled across you, and like we're gonna talk about like all the things and like
yes.
how you fell into moto, and we have a lot of
Mhm,
similarities
mhm,
between our men and things like that. But like I outside of moto, like I have very few like passions, like because
mhm,
really, like, I mean, we
mhm,
were talking like so much of my life is moto, and I love it. But like I am a diehard book girly. Like I love some spicy books. I love
mhm,
some fantasy
mhm.
books. I will read anything and everything. So that was crazy to me that I was like, wait, hold on, like this is a thing because I've read some of the hockey books,
Yeah.
hockey smut, as my husband says.
Mhm, mhm.
And it just like I liked them, but like it just didn't land, you know? Like I was
Mhm,
like, I can't appreciate it. Um,
mhm.
and I think that like obviously like hockey hockey dudes are very different from like moto dudes or F1 dudes, you know? So like it's just a different thing. But I was like, I didn't know that this exists. I didn't know that I didn't know I didn't have this in my life. And like then I of course like immediately DM'd you and I was like, what the heck? What are these? This is the best thing ever. And we started talking. And so now I have the first two out of three right here. They're beautiful.
I love.
And I was so proud, really. I was proud to know that like
Mhm,
other girls get it. For one thing, I get so excited like when there's just girls who like moto in general, but
yeah.
um to see like you know taking it to another level and like making an art out of it. I really we were talking before, I really feel like your books are like an homage. They're fanfic of moto.
Mhm,
um
mhm,
and there has been some controversy, we'll
mhm.
get there with with you know some of the characters in the book because there's distinct likeness to them. But I just think that the way the book talk world is like
Mhm.
it was going to happen and you did it first, so you beat
Yes.
everybody to the finish line.
And that's I think I wanted to get it done so fast because I didn't because again, yeah, like loving the sport for 15 years, I didn't want anyone because what I've seen with F1 books, I tried to read one of them. I couldn't really get into it, which and I love F1, so I would love to get into that series more, but I don't know. I didn't like the writing. But anyways, I wanted to get it done because like loving the sport for 15 years, I'm like, this is mine. Like I felt a little
Mhm.
bit I don't want someone to just pick up on the trend and like get to it. So I think that's why I wrote them like so quickly. And then also Supercross was about to start. So I was like, let's just see if I can get it done from because I started writing them I hand wrote it in the
Hand
middle of
wrote.
October. Yeah, I did. And like, which really, if I would have spent more time just typing it, I feel like the first edition would have been better in the first place. But, anyways, yeah, started writing in October and then published it, I think, January
That's
7th, which
crazy.
it was too fast. I mean,
Like a big book. That's what we're talking about. Like how many pages are we?
and that
350?
was the second version. So that one's even, what is that one? The first version was like 200 something pages.
Yeah, this is
And this
353.
Okay, so the final
Look,
version is 395 pages.
that
So
is no joke.
I went back not even more. I know. I'm like, I love it. It's great. I do I can't go back in time. I've been trying to like cope with that a lot this year. It's that I like rushed it. But I'm like, honestly, a lot of the girls who found it that love motocross, they're very like receptive and like I don't know, sweet, just happy. I think that the books are out in the world,
Yeah.
and yeah. So I'm happy I did it when I did because I feel like if I wouldn't have pushed through to get the three books out in the year, like I could have sat on them a while and because I could like easily start something and not finish it because I get
Mhm.
bored. So I'm happy. I'm proud that I have the three books now. I don't know what I'll do next. I think I need a break from writing them just until they pick up more, but I have to decide now what writers like I'm inspired by next to
Yeah.
do.
Oh, that's
So
on my list. I'm like, where are we going next? So
I know. Yeah.
we're gonna come to that at the end. But I wanna
Okay.
know, like, how did you fall in love with moto? I'm
Yes.
fascinated by
Mhm,
girlies
mhm,
who, like,
mhm, mhm.
love the sport. There's always I shouldn't say always, but usually there's a male tie-in. There's someone in
Mhm.
your life that's like, "Hey, these dirt bike things." But
Yes.
how did you fall for moto?
So I dated boys in junior high, in high school that they had dirt bikes, and I thought that was, I kind of tried to like get on it with when uh Stuart was in the sport. I had my boyfriend's neighbor was obsessed with him,
Mhm.
and I thought it was cool, but I it was nothing more than me just being on the back of these guys like dirt bikes, having a
Yeah.
fun time with them. And then my husband now, he grew up in Riverside, California, so he grew up riding and all this stuff. And we were together in high school, but we didn't really talk about his like love of dirt bikes or anything. And then when I it was the Houston race he took me to in 2010 of April, I think.
Dang.
And well, first we like tailgated. So at that, I was just like, oh my God, we're drinking all day. This is so fun. Like that part got me. And then we went into the race, and that's when he was a really big Stewart fan, and Villapoto was doing really well.
Mhm.
And I was just like, okay, well, then I'm going to pick who you're going against. And so I just love it. Male camaraderie is like my favorite thing. And then also, it was like the smells in the stadium, like the
Mhm. Race
just like
fuel. Ugh.
the competition. Yes,
Yeah.
all of it. I'm like, where has this been my whole life? And I just got obsessed with it. And all of his friends, like they kept going. And I think we went to some Dallas races, and then
We've been at so many
um,
races together that
I
we get to
know
know each other. It's
all
crazy.
of I know it is crazy. And yeah, then I kept staying obsessed with it because I was like, these guys, like, this is real training that they do, like, because they'll play like the clips
Mhm.
of them like working out. And I just love people that are like intensely dedicated to a sport.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with football. And yeah, I guess I needed another sport because baseball has never done it for me. Basketball, no. I've tried
Mhm.
hockey, I've tried, but something about dirt bikes, I'm like, maybe because I had a crush on these like people that rode dirt bikes
Yeah.
back in the day. I don't know, but I was just like, and then Villapoto kept doing well.
I was
That
gonna
was
say you
what
picked a good
really,
one. Yeah.
yes, I did, and I think that really propelled me. And I think Stewart kept getting hurt
Mhm.
around this time, and I was like, sorry, Nick, like your guys like, and I didn't at the time I didn't know I should respect Stewart like that. Nick, I'm trying to tell
You
me.
didn't know.
Like, well, and then it just got like funner every year. I think I had a friend who had the credentials for after the race. And so it was the year that Villapoto, I think, won back to back.
Mhm.
I think I got to meet him
Ooh,
outside of his little area. And then who else? What's the guy's name? Weimer. He gave me
Jake
his
Weimer.
Jake Weimer. Yeah, he gave me his jersey,
Jumping Jake.
and so that was cool. Like
Yeah.
that, and then I saw like Chad Reed that same. It was like a really cool the next year,
Yeah.
and Nick wasn't with me, and I was like, oh, if I'm going to this without Nick, I really love the sport. I
Yeah.
think, and then so I think I just felt really cool, and then I've just kept up with it ever since, and even like all his friends, like I don't think they keep up with the riders at all. They're very surprised when they see us still going to races now, like
Mhm.
15 years later. So yeah,
I
that's
love
what I'm
that.
doing.
I love
Mhm,
it. I think it's really cool that, like, you fell in love with it, like, all on your own. Like, I think
mhm,
a lot of female listeners, like, especially, like, on the West Coast where there's much more, like, land to ride on, they're like, "Oh, yeah, well, I grew up riding," or whatever, but it's like, no, like,
yeah,
you fell in love with these men, these characters, so to speak, and,
mhm,
I said in a couple episodes ago that, like, Weech had said, "We're only gonna grow the sport by getting more people on dirt bikes," and I'm like, I just don't think that's true. I think you can fall
right.
in love with the sport all on your own,
I know,
like you did,
I know,
so
I know.
that's so cool.
Yeah, because it's like I don't know, it's just it's cool, and like I feel like I had yeah, I wanted actually, no, I don't even think it was that I wanted Nick to, like me, because I wasn't technically his girlfriend yet at the
Yeah.
first race. Um, I think I was just like, "This is so badass, like, why can't I ride a dirt bike?" Like, I don't know. I always wanna put myself in a position where guys are, like, I tried to be on the football team when I was young, they didn't
Mhm.
let me, and obviously, I'm not gonna go race dirt bikes competitively, but I was like, I wish that would've been in front of me when I was, like, younger, because we grew up on, like, the East Coast too, and there was
Mhm.
nothing I never saw any of that. So I think I was just like, how is nobody talking about this? So
Yeah. I felt that way
Yeah.
too because, like, I talked about it on the pod, but, like, I grew up in Tallahassee, which is where Ricky Carmichael's from and now Star is, and so, like, I
Mhm.
knew what, like, motocross was, like, I knew that was a thing, but then, like, when my boyfriend, now husband, introduced me to Supercross, I was like, "What is this, like,
Mhm.
stadium thing?" And, like, it's so technical, and people are like I remember being like, "Wait, did they do backflips?" Like, that's what people like
Yeah,
are
yeah,
like X Games, and I'm like, "Kind
yeah,
of."
yeah, yeah. I know, I saw that, and that was, like, because that was, like, all in our faces back in the day.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, yeah,
It was
I
big. But then when you
was.
realize how big the series is, like, I think when I was like, "Wait, this is how long and, like, how many
Mhm,
races, and this is, like, all they do?" Like,
mhm,
that was really, like, my respect level, like, went through
mhm,
the roof, and then, like, I just kind of fell in love with the story of the sport and the families,
mhm.
and
I know,
yeah,
yeah.
I think I think, like, the late teens, like, 20 or yeah, late teens, like, we were we were in the Ryan eras, but I think we had a lot going on, and I really feel like right now, like, we are in, like, the new golden age of moto.
Yes, me
Like,
too.
I'm so ready for Hayden to move up, like, I cannot wait for, like, the Hayden Jet battles, like, there's so many storylines, like,
Mhm,
so when
mhm,
you said you were inspired by Jet and Eli's battles, like,
mhm, mhm.
what else do you want well,
Uh-huh.
I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's
Yes,
talk about the books. So,
yes,
book 1,
yeah.
it is a
Yes. It's a now I'm saying it's a love triangle meets why choose romance
Okay.
because most of it does feel very just like who is she going to be with?
Mhm.
Like will she, won't she with both of them? So that writer, there's Brody, who I
Mhm.
feel like I haven't talked about them in a minute, like because I'm normally making TikToks about them every two
Yeah.
seconds. Brody is the younger one. He's 23. They're on, and then Chance is the older one. He's 33. They're both on Team Honda, and Ruby comes in as their mindset coach because she has like a little mental breakdown at her corporate job in Texas. So she gets sent to Florida because her mom knows the owner of the Honda team. And she is naturally like falls into like I don't know, like a crush like thing with Chance because they're both from Texas. They're the same age. And then she's really resisting the whole time with Brody, like, because he's like kind of like wise beyond his years.
Mhm.
And she cannot, though, like, me too. I'm obsessed with Brody. He's my favorite. Like, out of the series, my favorite character. Um, she's just kind of like, she wants to be professional in her job and she can't help but like fall for both of these guys. And they're like teammates and then they used to be really good friends and then they had a crash like an incident like racing so they're kind of like not getting along. I don't wouldn't say enemies because really it's only Chance that's like hating
Mhm.
on Brody because Chance is like the one in the sport that is the best, like holds all the records and like people really respect him, and then Brody is the one that's like coming up in the sport and Chance is really threatened by that already, and then also now with Ruby kind of interfering. I guess
Mhm.
that's and so they have book one and Perfectly Untamed, and then I couldn't get enough of them, so I did a crazy epilogue and then put them in book three, which is Perfectly Chosen, which is when we find out what Ruby does. Like, I don't want to give anything away,
Yeah,
but that's
I haven't read book 3, so I'm like,
yeah,
"Don't tell
yeah.
me, don't tell me."
I know. I can't really we do get a male POV in Perfectly Chosen, which is
Ooh,
fun.
okay.
And that's the first time I did that.
Yeah.
So
We should talk about
yeah.
that. We should talk about that. These are female POV,
Yes.
which
Yeah, so
in a
I did
male-dominated sport, this is
yes,
it.
yes. And I thought Ruby was perfect because she also knew nothing about the sport. So pulling anyone in who doesn't know anything about like Supercross, motocross, she goes through the first Supercross season. Yes, that's right. I'm
Mhm.
thinking of book two. So she goes through the Supercross season learning. She has a mechanic's wife kind of helping her throughout the whole thing. And I wanted it to be where people who know about the sport, I wasn't just like giving them information they already know, but also explaining it in a way for the girls that don't know anything about the
I think
sport.
you did an excellent job of that. Like, I
Thank
didn't
you.
feel like mansplained, but I felt like I
Yeah,
could give it to, like, my non-moto girlfriends, and they're like, "Oh, okay, well, I understand what a whoop is," or a whoop,
yeah,
whatever they say,
yeah, yeah. I know, and I feel like I added in the new edition. I don't know if this would show. Let's see. Hold
I
on.
do wanna share off all, like, your printables that you made too. Like,
Yeah,
these are so
yeah.
cool. I
I know,
love
I
it.
just put them in the book this time because I was like,
Fun.
I don't know, I kinda got tired of printing them all.
Oh, I bet.
So it explains, yeah, because 'cause I'm, like, cutting and printing them
Yeah.
but, yeah, it explains all the basics in the classes and, like, how the points maybe I did how the points work, I don't know. Yeah, so then people at least have some kind of idea of what they're getting into. And I wanted it to be her because Ruby, especially when I went back on the re-edit, I wanted her to be like a woman that's not going to take any shit
Mhm.
and just be like, I'm used to working with all these men in this corporate space. So I'm gonna a little bit nervous because she wants to be taken seriously and she doesn't know what the men are going to be like on the team. But I did in that re-edit too. I made a big point of the owner, Philip, being someone that welcomes people into the sport
Yeah.
that because he had I went and changed it that he was given the team through like a will basically because it was not in
Interesting.
the thing. Yeah, because I wanted them to have that connection that he's like, I don't care about your credentials before this, like if you know what you're doing as like a mindset coach, then
Mhm.
and like whatever you'll learn the rest like along the way. And her mom is kind of like, I added more about that because I thought her backstory was interesting, of just making, I don't know, Ruby feel like she can go after what she wants. And I don't know, luckily all the guys on the team ended up being a lot nicer to her than she thought. So
I
yeah,
love that.
that was really important. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's really cool. I mean, there's not a lot of women in moto who aren't like wives or girlfriends. Like,
Hmm.
we know a few of
Hmm.
them, but I think it's a really cool angle to write it from.
Hmm.
And so we can kind of allude to who these
Hmm.
boys are. So
Hmm.
Chance
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
aligned to Eli. We want to say.
Yes, with Tomac, yes, because he is my favorite of all the writers of all time. I also feel like I caught him on the come up when he was, I don't know if it was that Daytona race where was he on Honda and he was just like flying through the whoops, like maybe, or maybe it was the straight. I don't know what he was doing,
He
or
did.
maybe
He raced
a monster.
he raced Daytona on a 450 when he was still on a 250. So that's probably what you're thinking of.
I don't remember. I was just like blown away by him. It was very early on,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Who is that guy?" And then, of course, I followed him through the devastating times of him never winning. Through
The long time.
yeah, a long time. So him, I just love because, and I feel like he's so mysterious. So I kind of took him on as like the older one on his way out of the sport, because, well, no, I'll just say that it's Chance's POV in the third book because I really wanted that to be like a love letter to how much I respect what Eli and like older guys in the sport have
Yeah.
done and just like how I imagine they must be feeling like on their way out of like trying to cherish the time and like of course I'm so happy that Tomac keeps racing. So my respect, like in love for the guy, just keeps growing. He kind of took on though, because in the book he doesn't have kids, he's not married, so he kind of became his own character, and I just wrote him as like a Texan man that I feel like I'd
Mhm.
be very familiar with.
Yep.
And so same, but different, but mostly just like whatever. I respect what he's done, and then of course Brody was Jet
Mhm.
inspired, and because I love that story, like the underdog story. No, I'd say underdog, like
Yeah.
coming from
Sure.
overseas and the uh just because I was so excited to see Jet and Tomac finally race.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like they're to me the best of the
It
best.
was incredible.
And yeah, and like just watching that and that watching the way that they would like interact in interviews and just watching how Jet looked up to Chance, like to Eli. And when I think Chance, I never think Eli now, so I have to remember that they are the same. But just like looking at that thing of just like how cool it would be to be in a position to race against someone that you've looked up to. And so I wanted to put this thing of well, I guess surprising that they would be like in the book like characters that would be really good friends because I wanted Chance to look at Brody as like a mentor because like not be jealous of him because obviously in the book he's on his way out. And so just watching them in interviews though, I was like if this was like a book, this would be so fascinating. And then of course I had to go and blow up their whole friendship that I, admired. But yeah, no, that was them. And I think that I do a good job of yeah, balancing both perspectives, I guess, of what it would be like racing with, I don't know, someone. I don't know how these writers feel when they see someone like younger coming up and like doing better.
Yeah.
Because even like Deegan and all these things, and it's just like, do they think like that they, like, I don't know, do they have confidence in themselves? Like when these younger guys are just like pushing and doing really well, do they believe that they can still win?
Mhm.
And I don't know, because I know that when they're on the podium in interviews, they're going to say they're feeling the best they've ever
Sure.
felt. And so I just wanted to write a book where I'm like, no, like it's actually like they're probably feeling all these things. And I don't know. But of course,
Yeah.
I put my own spin on it. But Yeah, that was the inspiration for them.
I love that. So, like,
Mhm.
I really I mean, I saw a lot of Eli and Chance. I think
Yes.
that I see even more Jet and Brody, but I
Yeah.
think that, like, what you brought to them, it brings, like I said, homage. I feel like you're paying homage to them. So, like, how did you, like, develop their characters in light of them being inspired by other
Mhm.
characters?
Mhm.
And like you said, like, we do get so much, like, content from them, but, like, it's controlled, like, it's on a
Yeah.
podium, or, we've gotten a little bit more out of Eli recently, but, like, how do
Yeah.
you go about, like, developing characters that are based on real life characters that, like, sometimes we don't really get, like, their true
Mhm.
thoughts? I mean, we do with Jet, but way less
I
with Eli.
I know. I think that was, like, so fun, and it was easier to make Chance his own character because I was like, "I literally don't know what
Yeah.
this guy's thinking." So
None of
he
us
was
do.
weird. Yeah, so I'm like, "Okay." Like, he was, like, cool just because I don't know how I thought of him. I just imagined what I would be like in that position with him and all the big feelings that I would have, I guess. He was just, and Chance, like, didn't even, because I knew so little about Tomac in real life and what he might be thinking, his character, like, grew on me towards the, and actually, like, through re-edits, and then when I did his POV in the third book, I went back to the Perfectly Untamed with the big re-edit, and I was like, oh, I know him so much better now. But I don't know him. I don't know. Brody was so much easier because you can look at this, like, you can see, like, Jet is straight up saying, like, some of these writers, like, how they feel, like, this, like, the famous video of, like, oh, it's famous for me, it's famous. The one of Jet where he's like, who's the best at the craft of, like, this, like,
Oh, it's
his,
all him? Yeah.
yes. And so I'm like, okay, like, that's easy. And I feel like, um, even him, I feel like I just study when I was going back and watching a lot of, like, YouTube interviews of the Lawrence brothers and everything. I liked the one that they did with Stuart. I think that their dad sat down and talked.
Mhm.
Um, so that one was really easy to pull from, like, you can just see how much they love. Like, the appearance to me is like they look this way. But, like, deep down inside, I feel like to themselves are totally different. And so I wanted to, like, show that in the book of, like, this really does mean a lot to them, and it probably gets under their skin, like, people not liking them, and just, like, how much maybe they have to, like, prove themselves
Yeah.
to people. That was really important. I don't know, I just went and studied everything I thought that they weren't really saying,
Yeah.
and especially when this was, of course, after I released it, but and I put more of the feelings of Brody into, like, the third book of when that video of Jet winning the first motocross race this year, when he, like, broke down.
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, there's so much that they're hiding inside. I feel like so much work that goes on inside that I just wanted to put into a book. I don't know.
Yeah.
And who, I think it goes deeper than that. And I feel like that's the beauty of, like, it being romance. It's like taking just, like, romanticizing it really. And, like, yeah. Yeah. I feel like I could go on forever about
No,
that.
I love it. I love it. Um, One thing we will talk about, which is unfortunate, is that part of I don't wanna say me, I don't wanna take the blame for this, but I am a key player in this.
Mhm.
I got so excited, I blew this up, and, like, a
Mhm.
bunch of my romies got copies of it, and, someone within the Honda camp got a copy of it,
Yeah.
and I doubt that Jed and Hunter actually read it, but someone communicated to them that it was a spicy book,
Yeah.
and they were a little uncomfortable with it, and I can understand that from some perspectives. I don't know necessarily know that I agree with it.
Mhm.
I think that there's a very fine line in walking with fanfic, which is like name, image, and likeness and all that stuff, and like that gets really like murky.
Yeah.
I feel like if they read it, they'd be like, "Oh, this is kind of hot. Like this is kind of that. I enjoy this,"
No.
but
No.
they're young. I get it. So
Yeah.
yeah, we did hear that, like, they were a little uncomfortable with it, and
Yeah.
that was a big bummer, and so I talk to us about, like, the re-edit process and, like, what that feels like going through it and, just not fun.
Yeah, yeah, no. So when I wrote it again, because I wanted this, there was a lot of stuff going on in my personal life after I released my debut novel. I put that out November 7th. And a lot of stuff, like, within my husband's family, like, them not respecting, I feel like, what I was doing.
Mm,
And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna show them. Like, I'm gonna, it was a lot, it was immaturity of, like, I'm gonna get this book out by when Supercross starts. And also just like I can write books really fast. I don't know. It was not my proudest moment. And if I would have been thinking logically, I would have been like, nobody even knows this book is coming out, Afton. You don't have to put this out on January 7th, I think it was. It's
Mhm.
crazy, crazy times. So I had been kind of like researching the like what I wanted to put in the book specifically through interviews. Like I said, since like October. Um, Anyways, and I probably should have taken the time to take out more. But then again, I don't know. I wasn't thinking that it was a big deal to use their likeness. I kind of was because I was worried. But I thought I had time. But then I also was like, again, I just admire their story so much of like the family bond, the brotherly thing, male camaraderie. I'm not like familiar with that. I don't have like I just have a sister I grew up with, and I just love like I also have like weird like daddy issues. So when I look at these things, I'm just like this story needs to be told. It's beautiful, and so I didn't change a lot of it. I parts a little bit, but barely any. So of course, I had already when I was redoing the cover, I was like, I need to go back and change this just to like save my butt in the future. And now I felt like they were my characters, so I was like, I can easily go back in and change things and keep it like same points, like of how hard they work to get there and like the family bond and how important that is to like stay brothers and stuff. And I was like, I'm not going back and changing that they're brothers because you have James and Malcolm, and
Yeah.
there's other
There's
brothers.
lots of brothers.
Yeah, so it's like I went back though and changed them from being Australian from gosh, I can't even remember. I changed so much and now they're British in the book, which at first I was a little gutted because I recognized them as like Australian
Yeah. I'm hearing them in
characters.
in the Australian accent, like, I mean, there's
Yes,
so much
yeah,
lingo
yeah,
being included too.
yeah. I know. So I was like, that was a bummer, and I didn't want to feel like I was weird. Like I didn't want to feel because I've been like very misunderstood a lot of my life. And like, of course, like I don't know, like I do have that like fangirl thing where I freak out and I'm like, ah, like, and I'm like starry-eyed. I can't help it. And of course, then and subconsciously, I guess I didn't even care that much if they found out because I did use their like faces on reels, but I was just like, I don't care. It's gonna bring more people. I felt like the book girlies needed to see these are the real writers, like this is the content. And I guess I didn't think that the books would blow up to that big yet.
Mhm.
I thought that maybe I don't know what I thought to be honest. It was just moving very quickly. And so I went back and changed stuff. So hopefully I don't get in trouble, I guess. And that was kind of like a doozy. I did the re-edit really fast because I was panicking. I took everything off, all three books in the series. So I was like, I just don't want anyone to say anything and
Mhm.
feel like I don't know, coming after. But I don't know. I get, again, talk about that forever, but it's like, I just ultimately wanted to show these guys that I have a lot of respect for them. So for it to be taken as something that's weird. And to me, it was like the spicy part of it is the most like it's interesting. I like that part, but to me, there was like so much more like depth in it
Mhm.
than it just the spicy part was not even like that was just there because I needed it in the. It was fun. I liked it.
Yeah.
It's like character building, but yeah, that was a bummer. That was like, and now I feel like I am finally over it because that was like a couple months ago that I found out about it, and I didn't even know if I should like move forward with marketing the book. And I just didn't know what people could do because I'm like, I don't know, like, because even with like Disney stuff, people come after people on Etsy for like using, and
Yeah.
that's like I didn't know if that was something like this because I didn't want to. Because to me though, they were their own characters though. If I go
Yeah.
back to that, I'm just like, even if they had an issue with it, I'm like, oh, I forget that you guys are even a part of this. Like, really,
Mhm.
like that's how I felt because I was just in my own world with all these characters.
Yeah.
And the second book I did based off of other writers too. So
Mhm.
that I had to go back and change. I can talk about because that was like even more, I feel like, inspired by a family.
Yeah.
We should talk about that,
We
but
can talk
or
about
which
that. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So second book is inspired by the Deegans,
Yes.
which is very polarizing.
Yes.
But differently from like the Honda and the Lawrence camp, the Deegans are, have grown up. Hayden and
Mhm.
brother and sister, I was like Hudson and Haley, but they're all the H's. They've grown up online. And so like were you ever worried about that in that respect where they're like, maybe they're gonna pick up on this? We know that Hayden likes to
Mhm.
attack older women. Hello, favorite grandma,
Mhm.
so when you were going through the re-edits with like the Honda stuff, and were you thinking about the Deegan one too and doing them in tandem, or kind of how did you go about
Yeah.
that?
That one, I thought that one was pretty similar, like that. I don't know. What did they there was a lot of similarities that almost that one was one I was worried about because I was like, this feels like too much because there's so many interviews with Brian
Mhm.
talking about his life growing up, more than I could pull from the other two. And but I just still I loved it and I was like, I don't care. Like this is you're talking about some because I really I like them. I know that's like a controversial thing. But I'm a fan. But because my husband, we went to all the whatever Brian used to do, those like shows with Twitch and just like this show they did. I don't know,
Yeah,
they would travel around.
the freestyle
So
one.
yeah, I met him like at some point, like a couple of times. And so my husband's like obsessed with them, and that's who he, watching all their movies and stuff growing up. And I was just like, this story has to be told because this, again, me with like not having my biological father, weird issues with my stepdad, and even like my father in law. It's just when I see a dad that is like working hard for their kids and being involved, and whether or not like it is like crazy stuff that yeah, polarizing, I guess. I just want to tell that story, especially knowing how Brian Deegan was brought up and that wasn't his upbringing. I'm not sure about Marissa's or anything like that, but I wanted to tell that story in a way to show because okay, in that book he's a single dad, so I did kind of like rip apart the family, so it's not spot on, like
Yeah.
it's a little bit that he's just kind of like really focused on Orson. His name was Mitchell, and his name. I went back now and have like again. I'm like almost done with that re-edit. I've had to change it up a lot so that it's not pulled too much from their story, which is okay. But I wanted to show how, like, my version of, yeah, single dad romance in the sport and how much time it is to, like, dedicate to that. And in my book, the Odette, the, girlfriend to Mitchell, she did not have a good upbringing in life. So she's really, like, moved by what she sees. So I kind of put myself into her shoes of it being like really just like a tumultuous like childhood, more dramatic than my childhood. But she comes into the book as like a nutritionist. I'm a dietitian, there we go.
Mm.
And she is did not have like stable like a home environment. Like she wasn't like always fed all the time. And so her love of like wanting people to like eat healthily is that the word? It comes across so much more clear in my book. Like I don't know. So she is introduced into the sport also not really knowing much about it. Grew up in Florida, and he just kind of like changes her world and shows her how she should be loved. And I did imagine if Brian ever went through a divorce, maybe he would have a lot of great qualities to show a woman and like help a woman because I do think it's impressive like how much they've built. And I'm like really inspired by that. So and also of course writing a character that's like gonna be like I like Orson in the book because he's talking shit, he doesn't care, and then I'm gonna bring it into like when he moves up into the 450s eventually and like racing Brody's brother, and so kind of like how it was with like Hunter and Hayden. But yeah, that they're really fun to write, and I just like found family. I didn't think I would like that as much. I kind of thought it was boring, but writing that actually felt like a love letter to the sport too
Yeah.
because it's written in third person, so I felt like I could say a lot, and it has bits of like Mitchell's character like pieces, and I don't know, there's a lot in that, but that one really felt like I wanted everyone to know I like this sport is fantastic, the people that are involved in it in all areas are just incredible. So yeah, I also went off on a tangent about that,
No,
but
I love it. That's exactly what we're here for. I'm like, I had all the questions, like,
yes,
I wanna know
yeah,
your thoughts, and yeah,
yeah.
I think perfectly said it, like, it made me look at the Deacons in a positive light, a more
Mhm,
positive light, not that I don't
mhm.
look at them in a positive light, but
Yes, yes.
I'm fascinated by Hayden and the work that Brian's put
Mhm,
into him, and I think that you did a great job in, like, showing, like, this is what happens,
mhm,
like, when a
mhm,
family is all in and,
mhm,
they have the financial resources, yes, but, like, they tell their
mhm,
kids, like, "You can do whatever you want, you can, shoot for the stars."
mhm,
And I think that's rare in moto. I mean, like, moto it's an expensive sport, it's a competitive
mhm,
sport, it has torn families apart at the highest level, and,
mhm,
so I love that, like, it wasn't just about Mitchell, it just wasn't just about Orson,
mhm,
like, it was about, like, the
mhm.
family unit,
Yeah.
'cause I think that's what makes the Deacons so interesting. I think that's why
Mhm,
their YouTube channel is so explosive,
mhm.
and I do think that you nailed Orson slash Hayden. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of overlap there, but, like, he is a
Yeah.
character, like, we've heard that, like, when the cameras aren't there, he's not necessarily always so bombastic. He is a 19-year-old kid at the end of the day.
Mhm.
And I just think that, yeah, you could take a person like Hayden any number of ways.
Mhm.
So I think it's really fun. So,
Yeah, yeah.
would love to know, what other tropes would you like to explore if you were to expand the series?
Okay, this was the bummer. I had so in Perfectly Untamed, Brody's brother is I was gonna do his story. I'm blanking on his name in the book. But anyways, I was gonna do like a notebook style thing, like a second chance
Mhm.
romance. That's my
Yeah.
favorite. Like anything because the my book that I originally published is like my Christmas book is kind of like that a little bit, but I can't get enough of like young love like ripped apart for whatever reason. In this case it was gonna be like moving across to the States.
Mm.
And I think that one would be really fun. And then I mean, I was basically going to do like a notebook retelling, I think, and just put it in the world of moto. And it was coming together really quickly. And like, I'm excited about it if I go pick it up again to write it, but I'm not sure what I'll do next with that. And then I feel like I wanna do really, like, 50 Shades type, like, spice kinda,
Mhm.
like, darker, things like that,
Yeah.
with the really trouble and I put Britton in the book already. He's the next writer that I should really focus on because his
Mhm.
stories there's gotta be, like, a lot of trauma.
Mhm.
I don't know though, and I want a woman in the sport working with and I know that could be controversial too, like, putting women in the sport and they're just, like, going around, like, effing wherever they want, but I don't know, I gotta get
God
it in.
forbid a
It's
woman
just
have a sexuality, though.
yes, I know. I'm like, I don't even care about that because 'cause I'm like, I mean, it's a fiction romance book, like, maybe this is happening in real life, maybe it's not, I don't know, but, yeah, I want there to be some type of woman that maybe she rides or that could almost be like a healing, like, dominatrix kind of character,
Interesting.
um, I think but that one, I would have to do more research, I'd have to spend time about that, um I don't know though. There's so many like I mean Aaron Plessinger would be so just to do like a true like a cowboy, like
Yeah.
play off that vibe. Because I tried to do that with Chance a little bit, but and you see it a little bit more. He goes back to Texas
Mhm.
with his upbringing like on a ranch, but I didn't go into like the full thing of it. I don't know though. I kind of want the books to like branch out so people tell me
Yeah.
who they are interested in like hearing more about or what kind of things? Because I never thought I would do a single dad romance, and that ended up being my favorite thing. Um, so I don't know. It could go there's so many people, so many
Yeah.
ways it could go. I don't know. Definitely second chance romance though. That's my favorite.
That sounds fun. Are there any, like, writers that you're inspired by that, like, I mean, you kind of alluded to AP, but are there any other writers that you're like, I think that they're really interesting or they've got a cool story or I don't understand them and I wanna
Mhm.
pick their brains apart? Like,
Mhm.
any in that camp?
I think him I love. Yeah, I think Sexton, but where my mind goes when I think of him, it is like 'cause he's so good, and I find that, like I don't know if he even thinks this. To me, if I personally were a writer, like, when he won the championship because Eli got hurt, to
Mhm.
me, that storyline on its own, like, what, like, that could do to your, like, self-confidence, did I earn I mean,
Mhm.
of course, because it is just, like, that's why you're racing to get to like, just in case the top rider goes out, like, you wanna be there right behind him. So, not to say that he didn't earn it, but I don't know, like, I don't think like black and white like that. Like I would have a lot of like demons, I guess, like in my head thinking like that story could go so many different ways. I think that would be fascinating. And then I don't know. I think I've just thought about those two. And then I don't know where my little cowboy one would go, but it would have to be something interesting. And it'd have to be, I don't know. Who I'm trying to think now.
I
I
mean,
don't
I
know.
think this is one of the things about moto that I think separates it from F1 is, like, as soon as, like, an
Mhm,
F1 driver gets in the car, they disappear, and the car looks different every race. Like, if you follow moto, like, regardless of, what bike they're on or what gear they have on, like, they look different, they're different heights, they're different sizes, they have different,
mhm,
riding
mhm,
styles, and so I think that, like, delving into these fictional stories is, I mean, we all do that. Like, we make assumptions and we hear them say things and, we see them interact with other riders and we're like, I wonder, so I think it's a really
mhm.
fascinating kind of like
Mhm.
case study into, like, being a super fan, you know?
Yeah, yeah, 'cause it's I'm like, I would just be thinking so many things, and, like, I think Tomac just said maybe this wasn't no, I read this somewhere. I think that he said that he was saying he was feeling better on the Yamaha than or is that fake? Because I feel like I've seen that he was saying he didn't feel as good on the Yamaha as he said, but now I might be mixing that up with something that was, like, um, generated to get clicks that wasn't real, or
Oh,
maybe it was
yeah. We've got all those now. That is weird to me,
I
though, that
don't
we've gotten to the
know.
point where we have, like, fake news in moto. I'm like,
I
"Didn't
know,
they
I
just call?" And then
couldn't
I see that, and I'm like, "Meh." Like
I know, and I was like but I could believe that to be true though, like, if because they just gotta go out there and say, like, "Oh," and then they come back the next week and say, "I was kinda sick." So,
Mhm.
like, yeah, that part is interesting, I think that it would be cool to talk to women that because I should have known probably more about the reason I know I feel like anything about the insides of the sport is watching the Deegan's videos, like, when they
Yeah.
travel and seeing, like, showing off everything, they're really the only videos that I watch. Because my husband I remember him showing me Hayden when he was, like, little, and I was like, "I don't care about this young
Yeah.
child on a dirt bike," and then we ended up being at the first race that he raced, like, by I don't know, coincidence, I guess. And then I was like, this is the kid. And like, I don't know. Then of course I hopped on the thing and I was like, yeah, I'll watch all the YouTube videos. Cause he wanted to watch them. And then, yeah, but now seeing like how people come on and they're like women in the sport are talking about like behind the scenes things. And even the one where Courtney was talking about being married to Cooper Webb's mechanic, I'm
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I didn't know any" like, in my book, they're just like they have all the time sort of, it's kinda realistic, but they have all the time in the world. They're just
Mhm.
like, I don't know, maybe I could do, like, a side character, like a mechanic or something. I mean, it could go there if I get tired of talking about, like, the racing scenes, because even there's so much, like the racing scenes are overwhelming because 'cause I'm like, "Oh, these have to make sense."
Yeah.
They have to be, like I don't know. So maybe I'll do something like that if I feel overwhelmed because I kind of saved the racing scenes for last. Like I have
Yeah.
a vision in my mind of where I want them to go. And then of course the one I always hear you talk about it too. We love it. The Dungy Tomac race from Vegas.
Ugh, love it. Mhm.
Yeah, that inspired a whole scene. I was like, not changing it. Like that cool. Like how it ended up so like last minute like that. I think that's how perfectly untamed the whole season went, just like back and forth or something.
Mhm.
Um, that would see even something like that would be cool, like what Dungy would have thought, like, years later to get and I kinda wanted I don't wanna spoil anything. That would be cool. That something like that, like, years later coming back and talking about what really was going on in someone's head. Um, yeah. There's so many people
I love
in
it.
sport.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, the story is what has really captured me. Like,
Yeah.
that I love figuring out, like, where people have come from in the sport and how they
Mhm.
ended up with their spouse, and now that, like, we're in our,
Mhm.
like, dad era of moto, which I freaking
Yes.
love, like,
I know.
how did you decide to wanna have kids? And, you bring them to the races. I mean, because it was like Chad and Ellie Reed were the only ones that had kids that, like,
Mhm.
brought their kids to the races, and I just think that, like,
Amazing.
yeah, these people we're getting more of them, and we're
Mhm.
getting to see different sides of them, and I'm just, like, fascinated by it. So, I think
Yeah.
it's like we said, it's a golden era of moto. So,
Oh, I know.
it's a good time to be a fan.
I know.
I think
I
there's
know.
good supplements for that too.
Yeah. I know, especially if imagine if I feel like the book community finds it and then if they want to start watching that would be the dream is that they start watching the sport and going to the races.
Yeah.
They're coming in at a really good time. So that would be exciting for them.
Mhm.
And for it to be like, oh, like just like what happened like with us, like loving it, just like that if I could play any part in like helping women like open their eyes to the sport, or just like also I feel like it's cool for like younger girls. Like I've had maybe like 19, 20, 21. Like, oh, my boyfriend rides and races, like now I can connect with him over this. And
Yeah.
that's really cool. It's just so cool because I would have loved this book to learn about the rate, like the sport even more.
Mhm.
When I was younger, I would have eaten this up. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
really cool.
I love
It's,
it. I
mhm,
I think that we're gonna get there. I follow a lot of, like, female F1 content creators, and, like, a lot of it is, like, I mean, thirst traps. Like, let's be real, like, and we've
mhm,
talked about it here, like, the men of moto are not, unpleasant to look at, shall we say.
mhm, 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 mhm.
And so I'm just like, is it that we're so small that, like, we're offended by us oogling them,
Right.
But at the same time, we have a monster girl holding up a 30-second board,
I
like,
know.
that
Yes.
dichotomy hurts my brain.
Yeah, that part to me, because it's like, dude, okay, when I will always remember this when Roxon came out in his suit and he was like, we need to like up
Oh,
level.
the press conference suit? Yes.
I
Mhm.
was just like, this needs to like I feel like are they oh no, I know he wants to look professional. I'm not saying he's trying to like thirst trap us. He probably was at that point too, like we need more eyes on the sport, like we should take this seriously. But I'm like, dude, come on. People, you'll have your shirts off, you're looking good, like we're women are gonna love the sport for that. Like, of course, for other reasons too. But it's like, yes, the women who I remember when I first went to the races, like officially like as my husband's girlfriend, seeing Diana Dahlgren like being stunning. But at the time I was young, I was probably 20, like so like up in my feels, like
Mhm.
jealous, not whatever. But now, of course, I've evolved. But like it's like that's been around for years.
Mhm.
And like my husband, when I first met him in high school, he's got all these like half naked girls on the wall, like posing on the dirt bikes, just in like these like events and stuff, like just used as like props for the men. And then, so for it to be like, if a woman is going to come into the sport in any way, we should champion them. Like we're at this day and age. It really kind of seems like caveman like, I feel like, to not welcome a woman into the sport, and not like support her because it's like, and what is it hurting you? It's not. I don't. It's not hurting you. I don't know. So I fully agree with that. And if like women, I don't know how the monster girls feel. I feel like they've kind of taken, or maybe I'm just not worried about them as much anymore, like a backseat. But then again, they're out there every race, like with the 30-second board, and maybe I just don't go into the pits now early enough to like see them around. But they were everywhere, and
Mhm.
so I don't know. And I just feel like I've had comments from guys calling me gross, calling me weird, and whatever they want to say, but it's like, who are you? What are you doing? Like, why does this bother you?
Yeah, that's on you.
I know, I'm just like a 30 something year old, 34-year-old woman now, like writing books and having fun with my life. If that offends you, I don't know. Like, it's just like what's on their like weird, like TikTok feeds that's like, you know, making women feel what is it? Objectifying women. There we go.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and I'm also very big on like decentering the man, even though I'm like in a happy, healthy 15-year relationship, that I know it made me feel like weird at first when I got into the Honda camp thinking that it's just like some weird little book I'm writing. But now I'm like, why do I care what anybody in the sport has to
Mhm.
say? Because I'm not hurting anyone. And now that I went and changed all the likeness, I'm kind of just like even what you're doing, like who cares if like it doesn't matter. Like you have an audience, I have an audience, and we don't all have like our audience doesn't have to be, I don't know, 16-year-olds on a dirt bike or 40 something year old men that do this for fun still, like who are also the craziest thing to me is how these men, this is a rant I really feel passionately
Go,
about
girl.
because
Go off.
these men, I feel when I'm watching them just like salivating to get this champagne bottle by Deegan, Jet, whoever wins the race. I'm like, oh my God, it's like, looks like they're getting jizzed all over. You know what I mean? I'm like, what are you guys coming at me for? Do you see the way that you behave? Especially when I saw it when Hayden won the championship when we were at that race for motocross. Like, I'm like, oh my God. And then even like the weird like fan stuff with Jet with the little water gun thing.
Oh,
I'm like,
so strange.
you guys are so weird. And I feel like that's all of them. Like anyone who says something to me about it, who's a fan of the sport, has a problem with me. It's like, but what would you do if you met these people in real life where you had the chance to get that champagne sprayed on you? You're probably acting like a, I don't know, freak. At least I'm a girl who's
Yeah,
like, I don't know, meant to like be kind of like fangirlish. So yeah, it's kind of annoying, but
yeah.
I don't know.
There's a whole group of like I don't wanna put it on an age bracket, but it's like, yeah, it's like the 45 plus men, who are
Mhm,
like,
mhm,
my era, 90s moto was it, but they're also the ones that are like the diehard Hayden fans, which I just think is so strange. Like, yes, I love Hayden as the character for the sport. Like, I think we absolutely like need the like,
mhm,
opposite of Jet. Like he is absolutely like antithetical to Jet. Like he's,
mhm, mhm,
the metal
mhm.
militia and the spikes on the shoulder.
Yes,
But then,
yes.
like, they're so, like, mean about it, like, Steve Matthews calls
No,
them bed bugs, and
yeah,
it's like, it's weird because it's like you guys can defend him and he can do no wrong, but, like, if we come in and we're fans of these men, like, it's weird because we're women,
yeah,
and, like, God
yeah.
forbid we be married women. I don't know why it's more socially acceptable for, like, I get on TikTok and, like, Hayden's posted something and, like, all of it's like, my husband." It's like all these, like, teeny bopper girls, and I'm like, "Why is that not weird?" Like, I think, you know?
I know, and it's like a what is it? Is it a parasocial relationship? Is that what
Yeah,
that
yeah.
thing is? It's like, I don't know.
They feel like they
I
know him.
just Yeah, and it's like, you don't. So, like
Yeah.
but even, like, the men, it's just so weird. I don't know if it's because I don't know, because my husband's not like this, like, he's not like, I don't know, he likes the Deegans, but he's not gonna no, like, I was the one that's like, "Let's go closer, like, let's go see, like" whatever, I needed better content, and but the guys, like, the way that they behave, who maybe they followed Brian,
Mhm.
or I don't know, but to and then also just to, like, spew hate in general against the Lawrence brothers, like, it feels like how the world's, like, politically divided. That's
Mhm.
exactly I feel like you can kinda I don't wanna get into all that, but I think you can see certain kinds of people that like the Deegans, and maybe you're inspired by, like, what Brian is talking about and, like, the life he's built, but, like, then you're putting this, like, weird obsession on his, like, 19-year-old kid and coming from women, having something to say about, anything in the sport or having an opinion, but it's like, I don't know, it's just so weird, but it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
It is bizarre. I mean, they're like our rock stars. Like that's what I like liken them to, like I like freak out. Like anytime I go to a race, like I've
Mhm,
used all of
mhm,
the legends of the sport, the Eli's,
mhm,
the Kenny's, like all the ones that
mhm,
are still around, Barsha, like I've seen
mhm.
them. I mean, I don't even know how many times like at the races and like I still get like giddy. Like I'm like nervous and like I mean, because they're my like rock stars.
Yes, yeah.
I'm like, why is it any different when it's like, like somebody on stage like playing music versus someone who's
Yeah,
like risking their life for this
I know,
sport, which I
I
think
know,
makes it even hotter. I mean,
I know. That's what I think, and I'm just like, well, when I saw Eli at the airport, I was like,
oh,
"Oh
it's
my god,
so
am I
cool.
gonna go up to him?" And I was like, "But I have to." I felt weird, but I was like, so I mean, I did it because I was like, I would regret not going to say hi to him. But even yeah, when I see them from afar, or when I'm seeing them like up close, like, and I'm just like staring, I'm like, "Oh my god!" But it's so cool to see them in real life
Mhm.
versus through the screen, and you do watch these people all the time,
Yeah,
like all year long. It feels like, of course, you're gonna have some I don't know, like reaction to seeing them. So, and I guess maybe because we're putting it online, that it seems like we're weird, but it's like we're not weird. It's just we have opinions. We watch the sport. And you want to talk about it on podcasts and on Instagram, and I want to write books about it. So what does it concern them for? So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Why are you so bothered? Why are you so
no,
bothered?
I know, and yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, and then yeah, I don't know, and I just see like even when I go to races sometimes, like these dads like dragging their very like unhappy. Like I saw this in Dallas, like their unhappy children around, kicking, screaming, crying. Probably shouldn't be at the races that young. Also, they can like their wives who look miserable, and it's like. This happened a couple of families I saw online. I'm like, dude, let them go home. Just go to this, like, find your friends to go with. Like, I don't know, I feel like they'll go to the extremes to get their families to go, if that I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah,
well, weird, like, looking at it. So if I ever feel weird, I shouldn't, because
no,
I feel like I've seen men do very weird things within the sport, and, yeah, yeah, that could be a whole other topic. Because I was
no.
like, "Just let the children go home.
Yep.
They don't wanna
No,
be there. You
no.
clearly wanna be there."
I hate bringing my
Um,
kids to the races. If we're frank, I'm like, they can stay through like qualifying, but I'm like, you are going home before the night show. Like, get out of here.
I know.
Mom's got to
That's
focus.
I know, that's how I feel. I wanna take Phoenix. I think we took her to one. We took her to Denver a couple years ago, and it was okay because 'cause she'd never been to a race, but I'm like, "Oh, I don't you don't wanna sit here the whole time, and I don't
Yeah,
wanna, like, give you the iPad the whole time or something." So, yeah, we go without her, and it's fun, though. I love having, like, because luckily we have someone who can, like, watch her, but it's nice. I reconnect with Nick when we go, and he's all for it too. Because I feel like it could look like, oh, like, I don't know, like, we were in Maryland, we went to that race, I was, like, standing across, like, across from Hunter, and just, like, wanting to, like, stare at them the whole time, like, he's, like, taking the pictures, he doesn't think it's weird either, he's like,
yeah.
"Yeah, like, you're excited." He's not I mean, even he gets a little bit, like, excited about it too, because he's like, "Yeah, this is really cool," but, yeah, my husband doesn't care, not that I care if my husband cared, but he's hyping me up about this whole thing, so I was like, "I'm gonna just keep doing it," and yeah,
That's so
it's cool.
funny.
Mhm.
I did an Ask Me Anything, like, on a road trip recently, and,
Mhm.
like, all of the questions were about Tim, my husband. Like, it was like, "Does he care? Is he as a diehard as you? Like, is he the one that got you into it?" And I was like, "Why is it hard to believe that, like, I'm a fan on my own?" You know?
I
Like,
know, I
it
know,
cracks me up, like
I know.
I
Yeah.
you know, I'm on Instagram, like, all day seemingly, like, I, work in digital media and things like that, but, like, I'll come home at the end of the day and my husband will be like, "Hey, did you hear about this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, did you check my profile? I've already posted about it 10 times."
Yeah.
So, like, he knows now,
Yeah.
he's like, "Hey, okay, I'm sure you know more than this and, like, more than you can even post," and,
Yeah.
so it's funny because like, I'll never love the sport like he loved it, because I didn't
Yeah.
race and I don't have
Mhm.
that side of it, but, like, I just think it's funny that, like, when I'm like, "Ask me anything," it's, like, all about my husband and, like, the male side and,
Mhm.
like, why do you like it so much? And, like, people can't wrap their brain around it, and,
I
I'm like,
know.
"You don't have to race to love it," that's, like,
Mhm.
the hill I will die on.
See, yeah, and I felt like I agree because I didn't know if I was coming in like now that I've seen so many more women in the sport, like that message me that they grew up riding or people who work at tracks, all these like different facets. I'm like, oh, am I like a poser? But I'm like, no, they're so like I've worried about that, but I'm like, no, I mean, we can just love it to love it. Because I feel like it's what like imposter syndrome, I
Mhm.
guess. And but I'm like, no, I know just as much about it as anyone else who's watching it as much as I can. And I mean, it helps, I guess, that my husband taught me some things about it in the beginning, but no, I latched onto this quickly. I feel like I was the one that's like, come on, we gotta watch the races, like for the first few years and
Mhm.
getting into motocross. The biggest disservice I did myself was thinking for some reason that motocross wasn't going to be as exciting as supercross because I thought it wasn't in the stadium and like I never wanted to go to the race because I was like, oh, you're not gonna be able to see anything. And now I'm like, why did I not watch motocross for all those years? And he didn't even get me into it. I was the one that's like, we've got to watch
Yeah.
motocross. And he was like, so even him, he didn't even know. He was just such a, I don't know, dodo about not realizing how exciting motocross was. It's even better than supercross. So
Yeah.
yeah, if not for me, we wouldn't be watching that. I don't think we would have gone to the SMX races. Like I'm the one that pulled him that year. I'm like, we're going. Like it's right here in Dallas. Like this is we're going. We're not gonna miss it. And yeah, I'm glad we went because I'm the one that's like when we went to the two races over the summer, I'm like, we're going, we're going, we're going. Like we're not staying home like for another summer of not watching the outdoors. So yeah, I don't think he's nearly as obsessed. He'll send me things. I'm like, yeah, I've already seen
Yeah.
it. I already know. I don't.
I
Yeah,
know.
it's all over
That's
my feed too.
what surprises me, I came home last night, like, I was working late and I came back and my husband was watching Cooksy videos, like,
Mhm.
conspiracy videos, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, we went there, like, now you're watching moto conspiracy videos. Have you heard about this?" And then I was like, "Okay." I was, like, really proud of him, because like, normally he's just, like, just about the racing, but I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, you've gone to another level, like, I'm proud of you."
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's the best. It's really good.
I love that.
Uh, I'm glad we like have so much in common about it though, because I don't know anyone who I'm trying to tell my friends. I'm like, I'm bummed because I thought that Hayden was racing the Lawrence brothers in Australia. I didn't realize when I saw that you shared that it's the Open. And, like, we've been so excited. I'm like, "I can't
Mhm.
wait to see it." But I'm trying to tell my friends about this. I'm like, "It's this and this, and I think Hayden's gonna be at A1." And she's like, "Okay." She's like, I'm like, "I'll tell you about it." Like, luckily, she's read the book, so she kinda knows a little bit of kinda what I'm talking about, but, yeah, I don't have anyone to talk to this about, so I'm so glad that, like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known if you wouldn't have reached out to me, I don't think I would have known there was, like, this huge community around it at all, so
I mean, I didn't know that we existed either. I mean, purely like I knew Katie through Main Event Moto because Katie came to one of the watch parties that I planned in Dallas, and
Mhm.
Katie was one that like for years I was like, I want to do this pod and like who should
Yeah.
we interview? Like dream
Mhm.
interviews. And
Mhm.
knew Katie and I were going to be friends when I was like, who are your dream interviews and like what questions would you ask? And she sent me this like
Mhm.
long list of like the drama with
Mhm.
like Maddie McAdoo because she used to date Chase and like all this. And I was like,
Yeah.
girl, you get it. So
That's that's
I'm like,
so cool.
the next phase of Real Housewives of Moto, like my dream would be like race meetups. Like I wanna go like even if it's not a suite because good lord, the suites are so expensive. Like I got pricing
Mhm.
for Dallas and I was like, this is not a thing. But just like
Yeah.
if I could go to one race a month and like we all go to like happy hour and we all get seats together and we all walk around the pits together, like I just that sounds so fun. Like because we just
I
have
know.
niche interests and like even within
Yeah.
the sport.
I know, and it's so hard to, like, find I mean, I find friends through my daughter because she's homeschooled, like, I've had other mom friends, but it's really hard to find adult friends, yeah, that have the same interest,
Mhm.
and I know, of course, I'm gonna have to see you when we go to Arlington.
Heck
When is
yeah.
that? So
The third weekend of is it the third weekend? It's on my calendar. Third weekend of February?
okay. Yeah, I'm
Um,
excited for that. Are you gonna come to Houston?
heck yeah, I'm coming to Houston
Okay,
because
so I'll see you then.
I mean,
Mhm.
regardless, because we finally get 2 Texas races back. Let's see which one.
Yes, I know.
Arlington is the 21st and then of February, but Houston's like January. Yeah,
Yeah,
Houston's the
it is.
31st of January. I can say this now. I almost said it on an episode before it was announced, but Lux, whom I love the Turners, Lux is racing
Yeah.
West Coast, and Houston is a West Coast round, and then Arlington is an East Coast. So I was like, I gotta go
Okay.
because I've got to go
Oh,
see
yeah.
Lux in the
That's
flesh.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
we will be in
Um,
Houston. Are you planning on going any other rounds?
oh, I really wanna go to A1 just because if I miss the opportunity well, and we have, like, because Nick being from California, you know, me loving Disney, like, there's always a reason to go to California. So, I haven't been to A1 in a very long time. I went to, like when we first started dating, maybe I haven't been since, like, 2014, and I love the vibe. It feels
Oh,
so, like, it's the where it's from, you know?
it's
So,
incredible.
yeah, it's the best kind of vibe. Um I would like to go. I we'll see. I
Yeah.
don't know. We're going to Colorado first weekend of December.
Mhm.
So it is like very close back to back. But I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of it's not what I do, but it's kind of what I do. That's
Yeah,
what I
for research purpose.
yeah, I just need to go.
You just write it all off
Um
as a tax write-off?
I should I really need to. I know that and then definitely Houston and Dallas. And I don't know about Daytona because I would like to.
Yeah, it's the weekend right after Dallas. It's Dallas and then Daytona. I'm like, "Oh,
See, that's the bummer, I
I
know,
know."
and it's very close to my birthday, though. I mean, because last year was on my birthday.
Oh.
I don't know, but yeah, I didn't go though, because Jet and Tomac weren't racing, so I just canceled the trip.
That's why
Definitely,
A1 is so good because everybody's healthy, you know? You
I
know who's
know,
lining
I
up.
know, I know. I if the tickets are cheap enough, like the airfare, I'm definitely gonna go. We
Yeah,
just haven't looked, so I don't know, but
yeah,
we'll see.
I love
Hopefully,
that.
yeah.
Well, hopefully, I will get my act together and we can get some, like, girly hangouts, even if it's just, like, getting drinks on Friday or getting lunch on Saturday beforehand,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
I'm trying to get like I have a Discord for Real Housewives
Okay.
Moto, so like everybody go hit the link in my bio on Instagram. I'll include it in the link notes too. But I want to get the Discord going and like do some like watch parties. Like I think that would be really fun. We've done that a few times for Main Event Moto, and so we've got the Discord going.
Yeah,
Like I said, link in bio, um,
yeah.
and just like yeah, I'm there's so many women that like I DM with on a regular basis, and like they'll send me posts like and stuff that like before I've even gotten to it, and so I feel like I have like female feelers like all over the sport, which is so cool. But I'm like, I want to bring everybody together, you know? So that's like my
Yeah,
dream is to get
I
a
know.
group of Romies.
Yeah, if you have something, even if it's like in little individual cities at first, but if there is ever like the big thing, I'll go. I just love traveling. I don't
Heck
care.
yeah.
Like even without Nick, if it's like cheaper for me to just go.
That was me. I mean, I went to Vegas by myself.
Yeah,
I went to destinations by myself.
yeah,
My husband was
yeah,
jealous, but
yeah. Well, it's like
like,
for the
he's
most
got to stay with
important.
the kids.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I love it because I just don't, again, know anyone. And I would like to put like, yeah, like face it, names, whatever, in real life, you know, just meet people. Because when we went to Budds Creek, the service was so bad that there
Mm,
was a couple people I was supposed to meet and I just never could find
yeah,
them, which is a
bummer.
bummer. So it'd be nice to have stuff set up in advance. And my dream is just to like walk around the pits one day and people know who I am and I don't know, like want to talk about the book. It would be such a like I'm kind of happy that it's like restarting now, like because I feel like I could talk about the series forever. So that's the dream is just to find all these other women that are like wanting to talk about the books.
Yeah.
So
I love it. Well, I always want to talk about the books, and I'm super excited. I told you I
yes.
was gonna hold off until all the edits were done, and I would buy new
Yeah.
versions because the beautiful
Mhm.
new cover coming that you've invested in. You can see it on your Instagram, your TikTok. It's stunning,
Mhm.
worth
Thank
every
you.
penny. So we're
Thank you.
excited about that and the re-release. But before I let you
Yes.
go, we have to just talk straight moto. Like, who are your
Yeah.
picks for next year? Like, we don't know which coast everybody are riding, so give me your 450s and 250s.
I'm very excited that Tomac, like I said, looks so young, like so
Mhm,
fresh on his KTM.
mhm.
If that would be a dream to see, because I'm hoping that it's like he has the whatever Dungy had, like the discipline. What do you call it? Like the regiment? Is that
Yeah.
whatever? That I don't know. I'm hoping magic happens there. Would love that. And I want so desperately badly to see Deegan, of course, racing Jet because I just want to see not that there's no competition for Jet. I would love to see the shakeup happen
Mhm.
of because it wears on every single race. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big Tom Brady fan, so I love it. Like I love seeing people dominate, but at the same time, it's nice. Like what's happening with like the Chiefs right now? Just finally, like
Yeah.
maybe the Chiefs will win.
Somebody
So
derailed them.
it's
Yeah.
so I would love to see that. Um, I would like to see Sexton be competitive. Yeah, every single race. Not that he's not, you know what I mean, but just like no, not get in his head.
Yeah.
250s. It's hard for me to believe that Deegan will stay on a 250, of
Me
course.
too.
So
Yeah.
I don't see that. I like. Well, yeah, I mean, I like Joe. I liked watching him. My husband's a really big fan of Joe.
I love
Um,
Joe. Ugh,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sold after this year. Like,
Yeah, if he does well again, that would be great. I like, who was it? Marchbanks.
yeah, but he's on a
Yeah.
450 now because he'll be 450 next year. So,
Oh, really? I
yeah.
didn't see that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
When Prado left
Um,
Howie, it left an open seat, and so they moved him up.
oh, okay, okay.
He's a
Well,
big guy, so I think
um,
he's gonna do well in the 450. So, but he looked good last year.
yeah, I know. Who else? My mind is really just so focused on what Tomac's gonna do, especially racing in Australia. Um, I don't know who's on the 250s that I was like, I mean,
I'm
I'm just
I'm excited about a healthy Cole Davies on Star.
oh yes, duh. I knew I was
Um,
forgetting someone. Okay,
like,
yes,
there's 8
yes.
million riders on Star. I mean, I love, like, the whole Star roster. Like, I love Nate Thrasher.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about that. But
Mhm.
I think Cole fully healthy on Supercross is gonna be a really interesting
I know.
dynamic. And, like, where do they if Deegan does stay down, where do they put Deegan? Like, where does Joe
Yeah,
slot in? And,
yeah.
you know, so
I like him a lot. And oh, what's his face that just broke his back? Or hurt his back. Is it
Juju.
broken?
Oh,
Yes.
I know. I think he's
I
gonna be out the whole season.
yeah, that was a bummer when I saw that. Um, I don't know who else because now I'm of course like obsessing again over Roxon
My
with
man.
yeah, watching him again now. I feel like I'm really big into what's gonna happen in the 450s.
Yeah.
I haven't been thinking about the 250s because then I was happy that what's his face when he moved up from the four to the 450s. He did Nations. Where's my mind with these names today?
RJ? RJ.
Yes, there we go. I
Yeah.
was like so impressed watching him.
Mhm,
Um, yeah, I was really happy how well he did. So I feel
mhm.
like I've just been obsessed over the 450 people. So we'll
Well, there's, like,
see.
so many champions that we have in the 450s. I mean, that's the whole thing is, like, it's
Yeah.
getting the 250 class clogged up because everybody's staying. So,
I know.
yeah, it's gonna be a good year. I'm excited. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that every year, but, like, this year, it's like I would have to go back and look at the stats, but I would like to think that we have, like, the most champions, the least amount of people retiring, that are
Mhm.
sticking around and,
Mhm.
like, these young guns coming up, and yeah, so I'm very excited
Yeah.
for it. It's a good time to be a fan of the sport.
It really is.